Hey everyone, this is it, our fourth and final week. We have been looking at the fruit of the Spirit. So we focused on the first four, and today we're looking at patience. So our main point this week is patience is trusting God to keep His promises in His perfect timing. Our main verse is, "Be still in the presence of the Lord and wait patiently for Him to act." That's from Psalm 37, verse 7. Okay, so like I said, we're going to continue to study the fruit of the Spirit. So by now we should all know which verse tells us what the fruit of the Spirit is. So Galatians 5, verse 22. "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law." Last week we learned that peace comes from believing that God is in control of everything and that He only wants what's best for us. This week we'll learn about a similar fruit of the Spirit, patience. So if we were meeting in person, I would ask you if you had breakfast this morning, and then I would hold up a big tasty donut, and I would say that I would love to give it away. And I'd ask if anyone wanted this free donut. So I can't give it to you now, but if you have patience, I will give it to you when we meet in person. How's that? So this is going to take some patience for all of us. So what is patience? Patience is being willing to wait for something without being annoyed or restless. You can even think of patience as waiting for something with a good attitude. You have to be patient when you wait for your brother or sister to finish playing with a toy or video game or get out of the bathroom. So you gotta wait. You have to be patient when you wait for a teacher to give you a donut. Those things usually only take a few minutes, but could you ever be patient enough to wait for something for 120 years? In Genesis 6, God told Noah that He was planning to flood the earth because people living at that time had become so evil. The Bible tells us that everyone in the world except Noah and his family were always thinking of evil and violence, and God said that He was sad that He made them. God warned Noah that the flood was coming, and He told him to build a giant boat called an ark that Noah and his family could stay in while God flooded the earth. God also told Noah to take along a male and a female of every animal and bird so that there would be animals alive after the flood. God told Noah that there would be a flood, but God also chose to wait 120 years to send it. That's longer than anyone lives today. Okay? Imagine if you had to wait for something for more than a century. That's an incredible amount of time to wait. It would take the patience of Noah to wait that long. Did Noah ever get tired of waiting? Did he ever say, "Hello, I've been waiting for years and I haven't seen any clouds. I'm not building this ark"? Or did he ever say, "All my neighbors think I'm crazy for building this ark. Now I feel silly. What a waste of time. I don't even think there's going to be a flood"? No, Noah never got impatient. Noah never gave up because he believed that God's promise that there would be a flood and that God would protect him and his family. So he obeyed and he waited for the entire 120 years until God finally said it was time to get on the ark. And on top of that, in Genesis 7, verse 10, it says that after they got on the ark, they waited another week before the rain started. Clearly, Noah and his family had amazing patience to wait on the Lord. Noah had patience because he knew God always kept His promise, and God's timing is perfect. Numbers chapter 21, verses 4 through 6 tells us about some people who were not patient. Many generations after Noah, God had led His people out of slavery in Egypt. He saved them from the Pharaoh's army and made great promises to them. But they were very impatient and they complained a lot. They wanted everything that God promised right away. God was very angry that they demanded things from him. His timing is perfect. He knows when to do everything. It's a lack of trust to be impatient with God. Y'all remember that donut? Gotta keep waiting. As with all the fruit of the Spirit, we see a perfect example of patience in Jesus. Remember that Jesus was 100% human, but he was also 100% God. When Jesus was on earth, he waited to reveal that he was the Son of God. He didn't immediately start telling everyone who he was. Jesus' disciples and his family often wondered why Jesus was waiting to reveal who he was. But Jesus always had a good reason for waiting. Jesus only did what God told him to do, and God's time for Jesus to tell him who he was had not come yet. For example, Mark chapter 1, verses 1 through 40 says, "A man who had a skin disease came to Jesus. On his knees, he begged Jesus. He said, 'If you are willing to make me clean, you can do it.' Jesus was filled with deep concern. He reached out his hand and touched the man. 'I am willing to do it,' he said. 'Be clean.' Right away, the disease left him. He was healed. Jesus sent him away at once. He gave the man a strong warning. 'Don't tell this to anyone,' he said. 'Go and show yourself to the priest. Offer the sacrifices that Moses commanded. It'll be a witness to the priest and the people that you are clean.' But the man went out and started talking right away. He spread the news to everyone, so Jesus could no longer enter a town openly. He stayed outside in lonely places. But people still came to him from everywhere. In this passage, a man with skin disease went to Jesus begging him to heal him. This man had faith that Jesus could heal him, and Jesus did. Jesus did a kind and amazing thing for this man. Would it have been easy for Jesus to let this man go tell everyone what he did and take the credit? Sure. In fact, Jesus would have deserved to be praised for this miracle. But Jesus knew that it was not time for him to receive praise for his miracles yet. Jesus trusted God's plan completely. He knew God wanted him to wait, and he had the patience to wait for God's timing. So he told the man not to tell anyone about the miracle. Sadly, the man disobeyed Jesus. The healed man did not have the patience not to tell everyone about the miracle, and because of this, Jesus could no longer go into town. The man's lack of patience ended up getting in the way of Jesus' ministry. I wonder if they had donuts back in biblical times. So I know y'all have been waiting a long time for that donut, and it must have taken a lot of patience to wait this long, but hurry, still gonna have to go get it. Isn't it great? Isn't it a great feeling to finally get something that you've been waiting for? Maybe now you've got your own donut. We all love when someone keeps their promise to us. The best part of this fruit of the Spirit is that when we wait patiently on God's promises, He always keeps them. James chapter 5, verses 7 through 10 tells us to be patient. It says, "Brothers and sisters, be patient until the Lord comes. See how the farmer waits for the land to produce its rich crop. See how patient he is for the fall and spring rains. You too must be patient. You must stand firm. The Lord will soon come back. Brothers and sisters, don't find fault with one another. If you do, you will be judged. And the judge is standing at the door. Brothers and sisters, think about the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. They are an example of how to be patient when you suffer. As you know, we think that people who don't give up are blessed. You have heard that Job was patient, and you have seen what the Lord finally did for him. The Lord is full of tender mercy and loving concern." This passage says that people who are patient are blessed, like a farmer who waits for his plants to grow and produce great vegetables. If he just gives up and quits caring for his plants, there will be no crop. But when you're patient and faithfully do what you're supposed to, you will always be blessed. But what does it look like to be patient when you're in 4th or 5th grade? It could be having a good attitude, waiting for your turn on the swings at recess. Or it could be not giving up on a friend that you want to know Jesus. Or maybe you could be patient by not being angry that your dad has not found your favorite shoes yet. Be patient in these kinds of things, and God will bless you. There's an old saying that says, good things come to those who wait. We know lots of very good promises in the Bible that are worth waiting for. Some of these are, God will supply all of your needs. God will give you wisdom. God will get rid of all sadness one day. And Jesus will come back to earth. If you become impatient about these promises, you're actually saying one of two things. Either you don't believe that God always keeps his promises, or you don't believe that God's timing is perfect. But does God know best? Of course he does. He knows everything, and he will keep his promises just at the right time. If we believe this, if we have faith, then we will be patient like Noah and like Jesus. God has given you his Holy Spirit to remind you of his truth so that you can be patient in all things. This week's activity, I would like you to send me an example of a time that you were really patient. Maybe it's waiting on that donut that we're all waiting on. Maybe it's something that you figured out during this time. Maybe it's another gift that has taken a while to kind of expose itself. Just let me know what it is. Draw, paint, write me a story, whatever. I will attach this to the project that I've been working on. I'm so excited to see all of you once again, but in the meantime, please remain patient. Stay at peace. Remember to always have joy and always show love, because all of these things come from God. Today I will pray using the verse Psalm 37, verse 7. Let's pray. Dear God, teach us to be still in the presence of the Lord and wait patiently for you to act. Amen. Thanks, guys. See you later.